What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have the view on America after living abroad in the UK. We already got to see it from one perspective from Matt Chernobyl's channel. Y'all make sure y'all go check it out and subscribe. But now we get another American's perspective moving over to the UK. Let's hear what he has to say. Before we do, if you guys happen to enjoy it, please make sure you don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you would like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's dive right in.
Moving out of the country and moving to England gives me that better perspective of like, oh, that is how I'm perceived as an American.
Meet Will O'Donnell, a US military veteran now living in England for 4 years.
Definitely got to pay him the most respect. Definitely always pay those who serve and their families the utmost respect for the sacrifices that they make. So thank you, Will O'Donnell. Thank you for your service. Much appreciated.
Post-US Air Force, he transitioned to a drone operator for TV, earning a prestigious Emmy Award for The James Corden Show. And now he is pursuing a career as an actor in London. Will share with me how it feels for an American when shops close at 4 p.m. on Sundays, his experience with poor customer service in European restaurants, and why Brits are much more reserved versus Americans. I'm Max, let's go. How's it for you, like these 4 years in London?
I remember my first Sunday, went out to the store and it was 3:55 in the afternoon. Now I had just moved from Las Vegas. Now Las Vegas, everything is open 24 hours. If I want to catch a show at 2 in the morning, I'll find something to do. If I want to go get chicken wings at 4 in the morning, I can find it. If I want ice cream at 5 a.m., it's there somewhere in Vegas, right? There is something everywhere all the time. Now, my first Sunday, 3:55 in the afternoon, I walk into a store. The parking lot is completely empty. And I'm like, wow, where is everybody? And I'm like, I don't know, it's Sunday, maybe everybody's at church. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the culture too much. As soon as I walk in, they're like, sir, you know, we're closing in 5 minutes. Closing? And they're like, yeah, it's Sunday, we close at 4. And I pull out my phone and I just start looking and I'm like, wow. And this is even in London, like, not in just London, you know, out this like a lot of places. 4 o'clock done, like places close if they're even open on a Sunday. So it's a stark change to what I was used to. And you know, even in the United States, not just Vegas, you know, they've moved to a very big hospitality mindset where places are open at least on a Sunday. You'll see it closed earlier, maybe at 9. But not 4 p.m. or not open at all. I mean, that's rare, aside from your Chick-fil-A, I guess, which has made it a point to close on Sundays. But I think, that was the start. That was my first Sunday there. And I was just like, we're not in Kansas anymore. I felt like it was the Wizard of Oz, right? And, and that started that kind of chain of events of me understanding that the cultural nuances that really shape just England in general. I mean, in the United States, there is a prevalent mindset, and I don't know right, wrong, or indifferent, but there is a prevalent mindset of like customers always right, the customer service side of things, right? And so I remember, and it's not that like I was trying to get away with anything. I was traveling through England, and there was one restaurant in town. And this one took me by surprise. There was one restaurant in town, and it was a Thai restaurant inside of a pub. It was the only place I could eat, and I had my family with me, and we were starving. So we go there, and it's a Saturday night, about 6 at night. The place closes on, according to Google, it closes at 10 or 11 at night. So I walk in on a Saturday, and I go, hey, can we get a table? And they're like, oh, we're not doing dinner tonight. And I was like, what do you mean you're not doing dinner tonight? They said, the owner decided not to do it. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, it's a Saturday night. You guys just, yeah, she didn't feel like cooking, so we're not doing dinner service. And I mean, I will say that was like, wow. You would almost never see that in the United States because, that's the kind of stuff like they're very big on customer experience, because, obviously it's a tip-based economy as well, and especially in the hospitality food industry, so like it's always about trying to keep you happy, keep you coming back and stuff like that. Service is very key, and fast service. And it was a odd shock to be like, you're not serving dinner. Okay, well, where can I go to eat? And they were like, well, there's another town that's 15 miles west of here, and you can probably get some food there. So I had to drive, 15 miles on a small country road as well. That's still about a 25, 30 minute drive. But it was just funny. It took me by surprise. And in that same aspect of that hospitality, faster service side of things, there is a slower culture here.
I feel like so far, yes, I completely understand them. Coming from Las Vegas, like he not just coming from the United States, he is coming from Las Vegas, where he's not lying. You can get anything you want 24/7. There will always be somewhere open. There will always be a lot of things open. You can do almost anything in the city of Las Vegas 24/7. Like it's absolutely wild out there. I've been a couple of times. It's absolutely crazy. So I see this though with a lot of Americans going to Europe. A lot of Americans going to Europe. I reacted to a lot of videos where they talk about like so many places being closed on Sundays, whether it's the UK, whether it's Germany, whether it's Poland, whether all these different countries in Europe, like where places are closed on Sundays and they're just like, this is like a grocery store closed on a Sunday. This is just a very big adjustment to get used to, because we come from a country where everything is open every day of the week. Early close for places, like he said, is like 9 p.m. That's early closing. Where in the UK, in these spots he goes to, we're closing at 4. Like, we're not used to that. And I think that is more so because he said, like, U.S., you come from a culture where the customer is always right. You want to make the customer happy, give the best service possible. Of course, tip culture, so you want to keep them happy. So we come from a culture where basically so many people worship the dollar. The bottom line is our priority here, it feels like, for most people. And so where a lot of these European countries have more of a work-life balance, or more so, hey, let's take Sunday, we want you guys to go spend that with your families, we want you to have that time. In America, it's not like that. The culture is, hey, like, money every day. Money. What you mean she don't feel like cooking tonight? It's Saturday night. She don't feel like cooking? It's Saturday, like, money. Like, do she not want money? What's going? That's the culture here in the U.S. It is all about making money. So it's much different going over to Europe. That I see, like, in so many different expats that have gone over to Europe. And I think it's a beautiful thing, that culture of, like, wanting to close early, wanting to be able to take that day, relax, spend it with your family, recharge, and come back. Because you got 6 days. You got 6 days to shop. 6 days to... But on this day, you just have to be prepared for things to either not be open or close early, which is understandable. But yeah, it's just not used to that. It's an adjustment for Americans. So take it easy on us. All right, he's not done talking about the service, so we'll let him finish up, and then I'll talk some more after.
Hospitality, faster service side of things, there is a slower culture here when it comes to eating. I see that in a lot of countries I travel to. Obviously, if you've been to Italy, that is an experience unto its own. When you go for dinner, you're going to expect to be there for a long time because, they value that time and it's family and it's really catching up, and, it's an experience. Right now in the United States, it's quick in, eat, maybe talk for a little bit and get out, because ultimately they want turnover of the tables, right? And a waiter or a waitress wants you to come in, order your food to eat, pay your tip, and leave so the next person can come and pay their tip, right? Because obviously when you're talking about a tip-based, system, the more people they can serve, the better. Now, in England, it is a slower experience. There is really no gratuity. It's not required. It's not really even recommended. You can if it's exceptional service, but it wasn't really... it's not prevalent within the culture. So as a result, you're not as attended to as you are in America. So you sit down and, they'll come over, they'll take your drink order. That's probably, the only time you're going to be asked about your drink again. Whereas a lot of times, like in America, you finish half of your soft drink, it's getting a refill. You take a sip and it's full again. And you take a sip and it's full again. And, In England, it's they take your drink order, you get your drinks, you place your food order. Once your food arrives, there's a good chance you may never see your wait staff again until the end. If they forgot the barbecue sauce on the side or whatever you asked for, good luck. I mean, you look around and that person has just disappeared because at that point they've done their job, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not, knocking it. It's they've taken your order, they've supplied you with your food, and they've left you alone. Now, maybe they come back, hey, is everything fine? But one-time deal versus, that cultural shift in America where, almost every couple of seconds, hey, can I get you anything? You okay?
Yeah.
How's everything?
Yeah.
Food fine? And, it's inevitably you see the joke is as soon as you take that bite of food, right? And how's everything? It's great. It's, but in England, and then even when it's time to pay, you'll sit there and you'll be like, I'd like to pay. Is there anybody that can give me the bill? I'll say that to, I guess, any Americans that may be looking to visit or move. It's a little bit of a cultural difference in that sense. Slower pace on a lot of things. I mean, be prepared for that. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I don't, I think where I am in my life, I need a little bit of slower pace on certain things, and it allows me to kind of slow down. I mean, when I've been running for 100 miles an hour for so many years, it gives me that sense to just, all right, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'll let the universe decide.
What's the most important?
I really like that answer because yes, again, in different videos of Americans going abroad, yes, they talk about definitely a restaurant service. In America, it is about like quick turnover because again, it's all about the dollar, like dollar bills. Want to make as much money as possible. That's American culture. And so they're turning over tables, and like literally, like you drink half of your drink, it's gonna be refilled. Like they're gonna come to your table multiple times, which growing up in America, I do enjoy like making sure everything's right. Hey, you need anything? Yeah, I need a refill. Hey, you need anything? Can I get some sauce? Hey, and so they come back like multiple times. I enjoy it to an extent. I feel like lately it's gotten to the point where sometimes it gets ridiculous. Like sometimes you can't even talk for 1 or 2 minutes without them jumping on you, and it's like we're good. Don't need anything. We told you that 2 minutes ago. We're good. And so to an extent, I do enjoy the service, but once it hits past that, it does. I can understand where Brits are like that gets really annoying. Like it does. It can get annoying. On the other hand, I've never been to the UK, never experienced their service, so that service again I've seen from Americans is an adjustment. It's an adjustment where, hey, when you're in a restaurant, right, we're taking our time. We're gonna enjoy this time with our company. We're not gonna rush ourselves. They're not quick to turn over the table, so we might spend an hour or two here, like just talking, catching up, having a good time with each other. And he said after that waiter gives you your food, like their job is done. They're good. You might not see them for a while. Said they disappear. So you got your food. Now enjoy that time with the company. It's like if they got something wrong, good luck. Good luck. When you try to pay the bill, good luck. So it's just definitely a culture shift into where America's like moving nonstop, and it's turning over, and it's into where Europe and the UK is like, take a deep breath, let's slow down, enjoy where you're at, enjoy the moment you're in, enjoy the company you're with. It's just completely different cultures.
Important thing when you are about to launch your own project or side hustle or business. Let me help you. It's the supply of clients. If you see you there.
There's more passive aggressiveness in England and within the culture than in America.
Really?
I come across as very aggressive to a lot of people. I don't feel that way. I don't ever feel as though I'm like aggressive at people, but I am high strung. I have that energy of just like, almost like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. So, why isn't this like this? And it's just like, people sometimes are like, whoa, relax. And I'm like, I am relaxed. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm not upset, but I come across that way because of that energy of just wanting to just get in and do things and get my, get at it. Whereas, it's, I've seen it a lot within the culture is an acceptance, right? An acceptance of like, oh, well, this is bad because of this. And it is what it is. It's okay, and it's an interesting kind of level of passive aggressiveness where people may get upset, but it's more subdued. They don't wear their emotions outward as a lot of Americans do. Like they internalize it. And even my British friends, I'm friends with a lot of them, they talk about it a lot, is that, they're taught to just kind of just internalize a lot of it, keep their emotions inside and, don't be so outward about it. You don't need to be. It's not going to help anything. And I mean, it's taught me valuable lessons as well at the same time. There's more ways to do things, and that those cultural differences that I've kind of been picking up on is it's allowing me to see things from their perspective and going, maybe I can tone it down a little bit. Maybe I do come across as a little high strung. Maybe I can kind of take a back seat every once in a while. I don't have to, always be so vocal about things. And that's good, right? I mean, we all learn in life, and we're all on this journey to grow and try to be, different today than we were yesterday, and be better today than we were 10 years ago. And, that's where I think a lot of my cultural kind of experiences have kind of lent me kind of a different mindset on a lot of different things. And it's been fun though. I mean, here's one I know you probably want to move on to the next question. Here's one I'm not going to let die. I can't. And I say it all the time. Pudding. Okay. Are you familiar with the English term of pudding? It's a dessert, right? So would you like pudding?
Yeah.
Okay, would you like dessert?
It can mean a lot.
Pudding for us as an American is obviously that chocolate pudding, right? You would get, it's that dairy, mixture, right? That's pudding. I get it. They call it pudding, right? It's a little, it threw me off at first. Hey, would you like some pudding? No, I'll be all right. Are you sure? We have cake. Well, then if you had cake, I'll take the cake. I just didn't really want pudding. Oh, pudding's dessert. Cool, that's fine. I've accepted that. But then Yorkshire puddings come around. Now, Yorkshire pudding is just a giant piece of flattened bread that accompanies like a roast. Well, it's not a pudding. It's a bread. And that one, I know, we talked about cultural differences, but like, I'm not going to let that one, that has been a hot topic, because one time I ordered a Yorkshire pudding thinking it was a dessert. It's not. It's just a flat piece of bread that you dip in the beef drippings from a roast. Delicious nonetheless, but definitely not a pudding. Definitely not a dessert. Throws you off.
How Brits react?
I feel like, yes, there is so many, like, I've seen, there's so many different things that can fall under the umbrella of pudding. So it's like, in America, where pudding literally means like one thing, like pudding in the UK is many things that fall under the umbrella. So it's just like, it's absolutely wild. And then he talks about kind of the passive aggressiveness in the UK, where they don't really show all their emotions outwardly like Americans do. They're taught to like internalize their emotions. That's how I feel like I grew up, was basically like internalizing a lot of things. And here in America, they say like that can be very unhealthy. Like, you need to be able to show your emotions, but it gets to a point where I feel like a lot of the times, like, a lot of Americans are just literally like too emotional. And it's just like, geez, like, how did that upset you? How did that bother you? It's like, it gets to a point where it's too emotional. It gets frustrating to deal with. So I understand. In British culture, I guess they're more internalized about things. We don't wear our emotions on our sleeve. And so someone like him, people might see him, I guess, as aggressive in the U.S., may not be seen like that in England, or if is seen like that, will not be shown outwardly by the British. And so, high strung, I'm high energy. I'm not high strung, I'm high energy, but I also know how to read the room also. Like, are people vibing with my energy? No, tone it down. So I'm also like, I can read the room a bit. So, but it's just the way people perceive you. Again, I do like the fact that British like know how to internalize it, know how to not always show, hey, I'm angry, or hey, and then Americans just like wear it on their sleeve, and sometimes it's frustrating. I don't know if it's good or bad to express every emotion, or I'm no therapist or psychologist or whatever, but I internalize things.
When they find out that you are from the US, you're American. What do you think the attitude from British people towards Americans? Are there any, like, I don't know, stereotypes or something around it?
For the most part, it's been wildly positive. The fun part is the accent, right? That's the first, kind of, oh, the accent. Where's that from? A lot of people guess America. I've had a few that thought Canada. Obviously, I have a very generalized American accent where you really can't place it to a certain region, right? But a lot of people have thought possibly Canada because, the Canadian general Canadian, general American's very close, right? And then there's been a few people that have been like, you from Ireland? I was like, that sounds nothing like an Irish accent. So no, I'm not. And I was like, so I usually let them guess. Sometimes I'll have some fun and they'll be like, you're American, huh? And I'll be like, no, I'm from South London. And they'll be like, South London? No way. You're absolutely not from South London. I have continued the joke once or twice where I'm like, well, actually, it was a small contingent of, colonists that came back from America. And, we've kept it as a tight community for 200 years. And that's why the accent hasn't really changed. And they're like, no way. And I'm like, no, I'm just messing with them. I'm from America. But for the most part, it has been very positive experience. I mean, thankfully, America and England has had a wonderful relationship for so many years as allies, as friends. I mean, a lot of people still, even younger generations still, look at America as somebody that did help a big piece to the war. In World War II, it's which obviously they did, but like you would think that, maybe history has died off a little bit, but it's still being taught to a lot of people is that level of kind of that, alliance and strong relationship between America and England. And thankfully, I guess the commonality of language is close enough to...
I feel like I don't be getting that vibe from the UK. When it comes to World War II, bro, everybody, like, when I react to videos on that content, everybody tells me, like, America jumped in. The war was basically over by the time America jumped in. And I also seen a video where America basically got rich off of World War II, bro. They were basically selling all kinds of weapons, I believe, to the UK and other countries. So America was over there getting rich. And, building up a stockpile of money by selling all these weapons. And then, everybody be like, hey, America jumped in at the end. Basically, they don't get no credit for World War II. So so I don't know. That's what I've seen from a lot of Brits in the comment sections when I reacted to that topic. So correct me if I am wrong. Please, my British peoples, please correct me. But I've also get the impression I've seen in many videos, hey, like, Brits love America. Like, individually, they can love you, like, absolutely have great relationships with American things. Certain Americans are awesome. I think it's as a whole where Americans may get this reputation from a group of people, but then all of America gets wrapped up into it and they're thinking like, oh no, like Americans, like as a whole, no bueno, no good. We not rocking with them. Individually, they take a lot of individuals from the US and think they're absolutely amazing. That's the impression I get from the many videos that I've seen, the British attitudes towards Americans. As a whole, no. Individual, yes.
A lot of cultural, kind of Western standards has really helped. But overall, it's been a very positive experience. I've had a few that were not as positive. Just it's very rare where, one person straight up just said, oh, American, I hate Americans. And I was just like, okay, well, I apologize. I don't know what I've done to you or my people. But whatever it is, I hope you work that out. And it is what it is.
Americans have this reputation of being like very patriotic. Do you think that being in the military for 10 years made you more patriotic and made you love the US more than before?
Obviously, the US culture has always been a patriotic culture, right? Agreed. And I think that's ingrained a lot in the schools growing up, is that kind of unwavering love for your country. And there is a notable level of patriotism compared to the rest of the world for sure. But I think as the years went on after 9/11, obviously that subsided. You're not seeing as many flags on cars, because you used to see them all on cars. everywhere, not just on houses and flagpoles, but you just see it everywhere. Everybody kind of rallied together. But as the years went on, it did waver off. And then obviously with, a lot of the political discourse going on in the past few years, you're seeing a lot less patriotism, I guess, because that's people's way to really kind of just protest the system. My time in the military, obviously they tried to make a big push on, that patriotism is that you are fighting for a bigger cause, right? You're fighting for freedom. You're fighting for liberty. You're fighting to instill the values of the United States and protect its interests, right? That patriotism side, it is interesting. While I was in the military, yes, it was extremely strong. And I mean, it still is. I mean, the underlying values of what the United States stands for is an important thing. Without getting into the political discourse side of things, I mean, the idea of patriotism, and to me is all about the values that you instill and not necessarily the people that are running it, right? And the United States does stand for a lot of things. I mean, you still see that all over the world. I mean, although, me as an expat that does not live in the United States, there's still people clamoring to get into the United States. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that people have these big dreams and big ideas to go to the United States and make it big and start a business and do whatever they want to do, because there is that overlying level of ideals that, the United States pushes out, that makes people believe that they can be and do anything they want because they have the freedom to do so.
100% agree with that, and 100% agree that like it's taught in the schools a lot, so it's kind of ingrained into you growing up, like that patriotism. And I believe patriotism is an amazing thing, being proud of your country, loving your country. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think it becomes an issue for other countries when it gets to a point where Americans like start to look down on other countries and think like, we're America, we're better than them. And you look down upon these other countries. And I agree that is a wrong way. Like, at the end of the day, we're all humans. No matter where you're from, we're all humans. You should never look down on anyone. You should never look up to anyone. I feel like you should think you're equal with everyone, because the moment, right, you think someone is inferior to you, you also in that moment know there's people out there who's superior to you. And so you should definitely look at each other as equals and not belittle anybody, not look down on other countries. Like I said, still be proud of your country, love your country, but understand no country in this world is perfect. Understand every country has faults, including the amazing US of A. We have a lot of issues that like need to be worked out and fixed. But at the end of the day, it's still cool to be proud of where you're from. Like, I'm proud to be a citizen of the USA. But I can also, on the other hand, I can also see like, hey, USA, we need to have a talk, because it's a lot of issues we got that maybe other countries around the world have solved, that we still got these issues, and let's figure out how to fix these.
And so like that level of patriotism, I guess for me has been unwavering. I've always, I always look back at what, at the time, what the United States did in a world, hundreds of years ago where that would be unthought of, and they really set the tone for a lot of different countries.
Can I say that you understood yourself as an American better after living for 4 years in the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, ultimately moving around, even in America, it starts that journey, and it gets you out of your homogenous lifestyle of understanding, right? It's so easy in general, from moving from one state to another, you end up having, groupthink, right? When you hang around the same group of people, when you hang around the same culture of people, you have that same kind of level of groupthink. Moving around from state to state helped kind of change that from different mindsets of the country. And then moving out of the country and moving to England gives me that better perspective of like, oh, like, that is how I'm perceived as an American, because I'm able to see that contrast. I'm able to see the differences of, how I live on a day-to-day basis versus how other people live, and their cultural upbringing, their cultural understanding on every little piece. And it really did kind of give me that perspective of understanding. And me living in England is still even a stark contrast to those visiting England, right? There's a level of different American tourist than there is as an American living abroad, and I'm sure you see that, you know, where you live, is that somebody that's an expat living in that country has a different level of behavior than a tourist American that comes to visit, right? You know immediately, oh, they're a tourist versus, oh, they've been living here for so many years and they've, you know, modified and adapted some of their mannerisms, right?
If you want to hear more stories of inspirational,
I think that's absolutely awesome. And yes, I feel like moving to any new country is definitely an adjustment. But yeah, U.S. and U.K., while very similar countries in many ways, also very different culturally in many ways. And so there's that difference in moving to the U.K. has helped him like see different contrasts and see how he's looked upon as an American from a British perspective and how they think about Americans, and he's seen their culture. And it just kind of helps you understand like there are different countries in this world. There are different cultures in this world. Whereas in the U.S., growing up, you're kind of not taught about many different countries or different cultures. You're basically like, the schools, I'll say personal experience, me growing up, we really didn't talk about other countries in the world. Like the U.S. was all they really taught me about. Geography class, I learned about different continents. I learned all the continents, but I didn't know what was going on in other countries. I didn't know laws of other countries. I didn't know history of other countries. I knew the history of the USA. That's all I was taught. And reacting to these videos helps me get to experience different cultures and different kind of people, different way of doing things. And I think that's really cool. Y'all let me know what you guys thought about this video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.